joining me again on the Lanai this evening. We've got a great show planned for you today. We're going to be talking with some of our students. And as you know, students first is one of our core values. And so it's only appropriate that we talk to some of our student leaders. So I look forward to our time together tonight. As you may know, we're about to start week 6 of distance learning and working from home. And as you read yesterday, our campus will remain closed for the remainder of the school year. Obviously, this is very disappointing to all of us. We were hoping to be back together, but unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. And we just got to keep everybody safe. So we will continue the year via distance learning. So you'll be able to, the learning will not stop, even though the campus will be closed. So that's really important to note. Remember that attendance is required per the Florida Department of Education, and assignments will need to be completed as grades will continue to be distributed. So please continue on the path that you're on for the remainder of the semester. This process allows us to finish the school year on May 29th, so we will not have to extend the school year. So not only does the learning continue, but the virtual events continue as well. And so we've had a lot of those in order for us to continue to keep our community connected. So this past week, we had a VESPA meeting on Tuesday night. That was great. We got to spend some time together with our parent association friends. Thursday, we had a very lively book discussion on the gift of failure. And so that was exciting for us to spend some time on that topic, and a lot of great learnings there. And for those of you that signed up for that, there was a recording sent to you. So hopefully you've had a chance to check that out. And then the TDS Sidewalk Chalk Competition from April 17th and 24th. So if you would like to participate, please submit your photos to VS Village School, social media at tdsnaples.org. So VS social media at tdsnaples.org. We've also are continuing our nightly bedtime stories. So if you are interested in those, please sign up for the Facebook. It's called TDS Nighttime Stories. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7:30, you'll have a book read to you by a member of our community. I had the pleasure of reading one, Wild About Books, on Wednesday night. That was a lot of fun. We also shared with you the distance learning parent survey results. So thank you for your feedback. We had over 109 of you reply, and we were able to really use a lot of that information to continue to modify and refine this, as this has obviously gone much further than we had ever anticipated going. So thank you for your feedback. It was very helpful in informing our thinking. And then finally, on the announcements, we made an announcement on Night Under the Stars. So Night Under the Stars will be on November 14th. So make sure you mark your calendars for that event. This coming week, we will have our coffee chat series again for lower, middle, and upper school. This week's topic is digital citizenship, along with parent resources to assist with distance learning. This will be again hosted by our admission team. Special guests will be Mrs. Landis, our school counselor, and Mrs. Saint Amand, our director of teaching and learning. So lower school, Tuesday at 9 a.m., middle school, Wednesday at 9 a.m., and upper school, Thursday at 9 a.m. So we would love to have you participate in those conversations. So as I said, tonight's episode is all about students. And with that theme in mind, I've invited several of our students, but I've invited one to kind of kick things off in particular, who's very familiar with my Lanai, and that is Carly Chapman. Hi, Carly.
Hi.
So how is it going with your mom as your homeschool teacher? Be honest.
If I'm honest, I really like it. But of course, I love my teachers and actual school. But having mom as my teacher has been kind of fun. She's always a little busy with Cooper, but that's okay.
That's true. Well, yes, Cooper is a handful. That's for sure. But yes, I think mom's enjoying it too, since mom was a former teacher as well. And one of the things that we've been doing, and we're going to talk about this with the students, is finding silver linings. And one of those is I've always wanted to learn how to play the guitar, and Carly's taken a couple lessons, and we are actually taking lessons together. So we're learning how to play the guitar together, and that's been a lot of fun. What do you think? Has that been fun?
Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, it's a good way for us to bond during this unusual time. And so in a minute, I'm going to bring in some of our folks that are involved in student government, and you're also involved in student government in lower school. So tell us all, our audience, a little bit about how student government is structured in lower school.
Well, in lower school, it's structured how there are 2 people in every class from every grade. So there are 2 people from one person. There are 2 people from one grade.
Right.
Actually, there are 4 people in all from one grade.
4 people.
And in my grade, or in my class, there is me and Arabella.
Okay. And then we have, who's in the other class?
Maddie Assad and Daniel Tice.
All right, so that's good to know. So it's a little different. So there's multiple folks that represent. And so since we can only have one person from each division, we only have the capabilities of this program allow for 4 total people. We're going to have a conversation with one of your lower school friends in a little bit. So awesome. Anything else you'd like to say?
No, I think I'm good.
Carly is working on a theme song for Leading from Lanai. So once we have that finalized, we will share it with the group. But thank you, Carly, for joining us tonight.
Yes.
All right. All right. So now we're going to have a little conversation with a couple of our other friends tonight. So first, I'd like to bring, oh, did we lose? Okay, we'll start with Bella. We lost Maddie. Hopefully she'll be able to connect back in. So first off, we have Bella from middle school. And I appreciate you joining us tonight, Bella. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your affiliation with the school, how long you've been at the school, and kind of how middle school SGA works.
So I've been at the Village School since pre-K 3, so I think 11, no, I think I'm wrong. 10 years. So
10 years, okay.
Life, and it's everything that I've ever known. So yeah, I am the middle school student government president, and last year I actually served as the secretary, so that was a lot of fun. Our middle school SGA is structured where we have like 4 kind of like top positions, and we have the rest of the student government like body kind of.
Oh,
so
okay.
We have like the top is just the president, and then we have a vice president, secretary, and treasurer. And then we just have a council basically of other students, and we also have a few representatives from each grade. So
okay. So what are some of your goals and initiatives that y'all have been working on this year?
One of our main goals was to continue the teacher tribute event. So most of you who were here last year remember that.
It was
so we
awesome.
Really wanted to, yes, we would like to make it bigger and better. And we were really disappointed when we found out we couldn't do it this year. But I would like to join student government next year because I'm going here for high school. And I'd like to bring it into the high school and make it a tradition.
I love that idea. That's great. Well, maybe there's a way to do it, hopefully in a virtual environment if we can't pull it off. So awesome. All right, Maddie's back with us. So I'm going to bring in Maddie from lower school. Hello, Maddie. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So I was talking with Carly a little bit, and she was telling us all about how the lower schools get kind of set up. So there's a couple representatives kind of from each grade. So you're one of the representatives in one of the classes. Is that accurate?
Yes, I am. And yes.
Okay. And so in which class or which teacher?
I am Miss Scheimer.
Miss Scheimer. Okay. And so how long have you been at Village School?
I've been here since kindergarten, so 6
Awesome.
or 7 years.
6 or 7 years. All right, good. Hopefully another night for life for sure. So awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Maddie. And then we have Brianna, one of our TBS 12. Hello, Brianna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So tell our audience a little bit about how long you've been at the school and a little bit about upper school SGA.
Okay, so I've been at the school for a very long time, since 2nd grade. I transferred from CSN. SGA in the high school works kind of differently than middle school. We have a historian that's on the executive board. So we have, for every class, we have 2 representatives, and then we have the overarching board, which is president, a vice president, a historian, a secretary, and a treasurer. And the treasurer works very hard because we were going to have a prom, but unfortunately it was canceled. But it's really student involved, and I really thought it was great because kids started, I don't know, taking on their positions in real life too. Like Sarah, who's our treasurer, was super involved, and she got a bunch of stats for tickets, and then they made a website to have parents go on and pay for them. It was great. And it was actually really fun to do. So I'm kind of sad that it's over, especially since it's my last year.
I know. Well, what are some of what were your goals as the SGA? What were you trying to accomplish? You mentioned a little bit about kind of the financial pieces, but what are some other things?
Yeah, so we wanted to have a prom this year. We made a homecoming because a lot of kids wanted a homecoming early in the year because a lot of other schools were doing that. So SGA kind of came together and made a homecoming. And then the other homecoming we had that the school sponsored, which was really, really nice, we had at the Collier Reserve Country Club. And then we like to improve student life activities. We were trying to do Valentine's grams, but everything kind of got crazy and ended up happening. But we like to improve student life and also just have kids get involved and try to make everyone kind of more happy and just let them better. So that's what we were into.
Good. We all did a great job. Definitely could see the SGA continue to evolve in a newer upper school. So you should feel very proud of all the work that you did. Unfortunately, we were short-circuited by COVID-19, which we'll talk a little bit about here, obviously. But you all have done an awesome job. And graduation will happen in some form or fashion. And we will, for all those watching and curious about that, we have a couple different options that we're going to share with the TVS 12, our 12 seniors and their parents, and let them decide which of the options they would like for us to do in order to honor our seniors. But whatever we do, I am committed to having everybody back together for Thanksgiving for a big celebration of face-to-face when you guys are back from school. Hopefully you're able to go to school, which I know it's a whole nother issue I'm sure you're thinking about right now, Brianna. Is Auburn going to even be open for school in August? Let's hope that they will be, right? But certainly these are unprecedented times, which we've said many, many times. But and really you have to go all the way back to the 1918 Spanish flu for anything quite like this. And so if that is a lesson for us, there was an outbreak in March of that year. The second outbreak was the worst outbreak in August, and then there was a third outbreak in March of 1919. So it's a very interesting time. Clearly, I don't think any of us, certainly none of us on this call were around for that, and probably not many people in our community were alive for that or can remember that. So it's been a pretty interesting time. And so with that too is, I think I've been thinking about this conversation a lot, and it just continues to evolve. This pandemic, which started out as a 2-week closure, and then has now moved into we're not going back to school, the campus itself. And so with all of this news, I'm curious, how are you all processing this? How are you dealing with this kind of information as it continues to change? And so let's start with Maddie on this one.
I'm feeling isolated. I miss my daily routine, like going to school and like seeing my teachers every day. Yeah.
They miss you too.
I'm unsure when things are going to get back to normal because like no one's really like said anything of any sort. But I feel pretty safe because I'm just like at the most I'm bike riding in my neighborhood.
That's good. Well, it's all data driven. And so we've got a lot of folks looking at the data to when it's safe to get people back together. And, I think we're not quite there yet for Florida. And so we're just trying to keep everybody safe, and that's our ultimate goal. But, we miss this. It's tough on everybody right now to not be together face to face. I'm so blessed that we have technology, at least that we can connect with one another, like in this format, as well as with school. But it's certainly a very different time. Brianna, how about you? How are you feeling? You've got, senior year, no prom, graduation's kind of up in the air, and it's got to be a little bit deflating.
Definitely. I think that online classes they haven't been bad. I mean, I have to learn how to balance my homework schedule and also you'd think you'd have more time, but sometimes I'm just kind of stressed out more. I'm just like, I really want to watch TV because I have so much time now, but I have to focus on homework. But yeah, definitely. I know a lot of my fellow seniors are very worried about graduation and kind of what was going on with the school. And also in May, a lot of us have our AP exams. So I know that's kind of stressing us out, but College Board was very relieving and cut all of our exams in half, or 45 minutes from 3 hours, which is really nice.
Wow, that is great.
Yeah, and then finding out yesterday that school was canceled, I think it was, I don't know, it was kind of scary because, again, graduation, a lot of our family members are going to come in town, and it's just impossible now because of COVID-19. So it's hard. but I found I like swimming now, so that kind of like gets my mind off of it. And also lots of Netflix shows that are coming out. Is also kind of
Yes.
stress.
Lots of content for sure. Good. Yeah, I know it is. It's certainly very interesting. And but I'm glad to hear that you're swimming. That's good. Some physical activity is important. I think to try to create a routine in this environment is very key. Bella, what about you? How are you feeling?
I am feeling sad yet hopeful and very grateful. I am sad because obviously I'm not seeing my friends and it's not the same, like the day-to-day operations of like school versus virtual school, very different.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful because our school, we already have like Chromebooks and we already have Google Classroom set up. So it was very easy for us to make the transition. So I think I was very grateful for that. And I'm hopeful because I know at some point we do have to go back to school. And so I'm very hopeful that that will be very soon, hopefully next year. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think we will be back in some form or fashion. I think it'll probably take some sort of a hybrid. Perhaps maybe it's a A-B type schedule where half the students are there and the other half are doing distance learning, and then you flip-flop. That's probably one model. We're actually, as a school, already looking at this for next year. So we're putting together a task force of members of our faculty and administration to begin to put together some options. A lot of this will be obviously driven by the CDC, the World Health Organization, and our local officials, public health officials. But it'll be really interesting to see what this all plays out. But I'm very glad to hear that you're hopeful and grateful and optimistic about what this will be when we're all back together, because that's the only way you can be right now, right? I mean, there's other ways to be, but I think that's the best way to be, is try to be as optimistic as possible about the future. So we talked a little bit about distance learning, but now we're going into week 6 of this now. And as I said at the outset of this, we really kind of felt like, as a faculty, we had planned for this going into spring break. We were prepared for it, certainly with the Google Classroom in the intermediate and middle and upper grades. We thought kind of, was this going to be 2 weeks initially? We thought we'd be back by hopefully March 30th, and then it just kept getting pushed back and pushed back. So with that, we're constantly modifying and trying to make things different and better. But as a student, how's it going for you? And then the second part to this question is, what parts of this can you take now for the next stage? Because all of you will be going into the next stage of your scholastic career, right? So you're going to be moving on to, for Maddie, that'll be middle school. For Bella, it'll be upper school, and Brianna, that'll be for college for you. So why don't we start maybe with you, Brianna? How do you feel like this has really helped you in some ways? First of all, how's it going, and how's it maybe helped you as a learner?
Well, I was first kind of nervous about distance learning because I thought it was going to be like a bunch of classes every day and I would have to kind of figure out how to do everything. But how Village has done it is really nice because I've gotten very good at organizing things. My planners are like filled. I have sticky notes all around my room of homework I have to do, which I think is great because there is rumors going around that Auburn and certain colleges might be shutting down for a semester in case of this going bad. So I'd have to do online classes the entire time, the entire first semester. So kind of learning these skills now is good for me. I pray and I hope that that's not going to be the case. But right now I'm very organized. I kind of have, I wouldn't say a better connection, but I'm constantly emailing my teachers. I can kind of tell like they're trying a lot to get us to know what we're doing, but also kind of be like, hey, how's your day? What's going on? And I think it's just good bonding, but also, we're learning a lot. I feel like I'm actually learning more because I really need to know the information now. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is what I have to do. This is what I have to do. And then I have to try extra hard because I'm not in person. I'm not having those connections, but I don't mind it. I wish I was in school. I miss everyone.
Yeah, it is. It is a challenge. I think you're right, though. It does force you in some ways to have to even advocate a little bit more for yourself, perhaps with your teacher, ask for that extra help. I know, kind of having 2 lower school children, I see that there's even, it would appear even more of one-on-one time because you're able to teachers are able to kind of manage their time a little bit differently because it's not everybody all together. So the one-on-one Zoom sessions and things like that are really very powerful and very helpful. But you're right. I think you're learning something that you may need for the first semester at a minimum when you go to Auburn. What about you, Bella? How's it going for you, and what are you learning from this?
I think it's going really good for me. I mean, I've really adapted to the virtual learning and the entire experience. And I think that I'm going to take from this experience, I'm going to take that I guess maybe not to be super, what's the word? Oh my gosh. Like not take things for granted, like going to school every morning and just hating everything. I'm definitely going to think like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I actually get up and go to school today, because I'd rather be at school than obviously sitting at home on my computer. But I'll also probably learn to be a lot more flexible, because I mean, this is definitely a big switch. So I think I'm really trying to learn a few different skills from this.
No, that's really good. You're right. And I think that's one of the challenges we have. I mean, our bread and butter is when we're all together. You know, that's a big reason why you're at the Village School, is the relationships in the community. And it's a challenge for us. And we're also trying to balance delivering the content, especially in these upper grades, but so that you have it, which, you know, because it's important that you have the content, but also balancing screen time and your opportunity to be able to be away from the screen. And I think it's a, you know, it's an ongoing kind of push and pull for us as a school. Yeah, that's good. How about you, Maddie? How are things? How is distance learning going for you? And what are some things you feel like you're learning in this environment that you can translate to your middle school experience?
Distance learning is going good. After the first few days, like I found a schedule, like I need to wake up at this time because I have a meeting at this time. Because they all sort of like, for the first week or so, they gave us a schedule every day, so I had to be on my computer most of the day. Versus now that they gave us a schedule for the whole week, I know what time I have free time to do everything.
Yeah, that's really important, I think, too, is to be able to balance that, kind of going back to what I mentioned before, that, you know, the asynchronous model that is the lower school allows for that. And the design of it really is to allow for parents that have to help with some of the younger children, even younger than you guys, that they can kind of plan it accordingly to their work schedule or however that might be. Whereas middle and upper school, you're a little more autonomous in your ability to just log on and go on to the meetings and that sort of thing too. So being synchronous makes a lot of sense for the middle and upper school. But certainly some skills that you're learning that you didn't think you're going to be learning probably a couple months ago. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that it's going well, and there's some learning that's coming from it. Let's talk a little bit about not being on campus. So what do you miss most about that experience of just not being there? Bella, why don't we start with you on this one?
I probably miss everything. I mean, from seeing my teachers and my friends, and just even like my locker, like going to my locker between classes. I miss that so much. And just going to each class is just everything. I miss it so much. So I think that's really affected me, you know, just not being able to experience that on a daily basis.
Are you finding ways to connect with your friends still, like text or video chats or?
Yeah, I usually FaceTime my friends a lot, so I still get to talk to them. One of my friends and I were actually sending letters back and forth, so it's just one way for us to like just have a little fun while, you know, we're still at home.
Good. Well, that's good. That social connection is so key right now because it can feel very isolating, like we talked about at the outset. How about you, Maddie? What do you miss most?
I miss the teachers and my friends because I miss goofing off, like at recess and lunch. But I miss carrying my books and like Chromebook to my first class, and at least like going into my homeroom and seeing my teachers greet me good morning. Like I haven't seen anyone in so long.
Yeah,
it's been a little crazy.
It's tough. I know. And I know our teachers are doing an awesome job, which we talked about already, of reaching out to you all and making sure that you're feeling connected. And then we're kind of brainstorming ways to continue to do that. It's so tough you can't replicate that personal experience, you know, but we know how you're feeling. It's definitely challenging, but, and you're connecting with your friends too. Are you sending text messages or? Good.
Yes,
Good.
I text and like FaceTime my friends almost every day.
Good.
Like I do like some of my schoolwork with them. Like if it's like a group project, but I have a brother who's not very helpful. So like I FaceTime my friends and I'm like, well, you do this project with me so we can both do it at the same time.
There you go. Well, that's fun. That's a good way to connect. Yeah, brothers, I tell you, sometimes they just can't, they're not helpful. I get that. Brianna, what about you? What do you miss most?
I miss a lot just because I'm not going to be returning next year. So I miss coming to school and seeing my teachers and being able to have those personal relationships with them and asking them questions, telling them how my day is. I miss my friends. I miss the seniors just because like this is our last couple like a months just to talk and be ready. And we're all kind of the same nervous, I guess, for college. So it's kind of nice to see them. But yeah, I definitely miss that. I definitely miss just goofing around too in classes and just having a good time. And I miss the engineering program and the chickens. That was always really fun. And we just hatched the baby ones. I was like,
know.
oh, this stinks. But yeah, I definitely miss everything, to be honest. But I'm hoping that for graduation, I get to see everyone. And after all this is over, the seniors and I will probably all meet up and talk.
Good. Absolutely. I know it is. I have to say that's probably the thing I'm the most disappointed about, and all of this is you guys, the seniors, and that it's been very challenging for y'all not to have this sense of closure to your upper school experience. So I'm excited for coming up with something, or hopefully multiple ways to honor you guys and celebrate together, because we're looking so forward to it being our first class, obviously, but really for you guys that have gone through this journey with us. So know that we are got some pretty cool ideas in mind, but it really come down to what y'all want us to do. But we're going to celebrate together, and then when we're able to get together, we're really going to celebrate. So absolutely. No, thank you. So all right, so we'll talk a little bit on a happier note. How are you spending your downtime? Like, you've got now some found time. I shared with you guys, Carly and I learned how to play the guitar, which is kind of fun. I was one of those things I always said I wanted to do, but I never took the time to do it. And now I've got the time, and we're all together. But what about you all? Anything that you're doing during your downtime? Brianna, you talked a little bit about swimming. What else are you doing?
I love swimming. I got really into biking and running because, I like to be outdoors. So I like running a lot. Walking my dog is pretty fun as well, I didn't think I'd say that, but I do enjoy doing that. And just kind of relaxing. I've gotten a lot more sleep. My sleep schedule was horrible just because I like to watch TV shows and stay up till very, very late and after homework. But I've also been able to balance my time, and I got a lot of new Netflix shows, a lot of Amazon Prime shows, movies, just everything. And also I kind of like the family time I get to have. So my mom's always traveling. My sisters are always busy with school as well, but we have a bunch of board games and funny things that we've been doing. Monopoly's been the big thing in my family right now. It's kind of,
yeah.
But
yeah, does it get competitive?
Oh yeah. Screaming. It's fun.
That's good. Yeah, we've been playing our share board games too here. So but it gets competitive. We're all pretty competitive. I'm certainly very competitive too. So that it's been fun though. But what about you, Maddie? What are you doing on your downtime? I know you're very athletic. So you're staying active.
Yes, I'm trying to practice all my sports in between my time that I have when I'm not having a class. We do a lot of board games. Now I'm like really into like riding my bike around my neighborhood. Golf cart rides. And we've done a couple family games, but we're starting to expand on that.
Yeah, parents running out of ideas.
Yeah, but
that's good. Yeah, well, the bike riding is great too. There's so many people that are out doing that now, which is awesome. It's a great way to get some exercise.
It's nice just to be outside, like, since we have to be inside most of the day.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what I do, it's just nice to be outside.
Yep, it is. And luckily, we've got a great place to be in quarantine in Naples. It's beautiful weather and lots to do. So, well, good. And Bella, I know you're a runner. So are you been doing some running, or what else? What have you been doing?
I have definitely been running. In the summer, I usually train for my next cross country season. So I've got like an early start on that. I am a little bit bummed out since this is my last year in middle school and I qualify for like the track and field states. So I am kind of bummed out, but at least I qualified. So I'm so happy about that. And I've been swimming a lot. I've been hanging out with my brother, even though he can get a little annoying. And I've just been spending a lot of time with my new puppy, Clayton. So that's good. I'm really happy.
What type of puppy do you have?
He's a mix. He has Pomeranian, Poodle, Maltese, and something else. I forgot.
Oh, fun. Well, you've got 4 more years as a Knight for Life to be able to qualify again. I know you're going to qualify again. I'm not too worried about that. I've seen your times. So, well, good. So to kind of wind things up a little bit here, we've talked about these kind of already a little bit, but I like looking for the positive in things, and there's definitely some silver linings to this. And I think we've touched on a lot of them: increased family time, and being able to play some sports and do some things along those lines are the things that we're learning about becoming an independent learner and that sort of thing too. But what are some other kind of final thoughts and silver linings that you guys feel like you'd like to share? Maddie, let's start with you. What silver linings do you see?
Sleeping in, definitely. I get at least another hour or so of sleep.
Yeah.
Which is nice. And I like not having to get in our uniform, like just be able to stay in whatever we want to.
Yes, that is definitely a plus. I've popped in a couple of classes where I've seen some folks, especially upper school, that may still be in their pajamas and in bed. I'm not sure. But it's nice to be able to not have to put on the uniform or dress code to start your day. And a little extra sleep's not a bad thing too. What about you, Bella? There's some silver linings.
I do get to eat a lot during the day now. I like to eat, to be honest. And so I get to have lunch whenever I want to. So I don't have to wait until like 1 o'clock. So that's really nice. And I just get to spend a lot of family time. So yeah.
That's good. Awesome. What about you, Brianna?
Definitely family time and being able to like plan out just when I'm gonna do stuff and relax. And I like to eat as well. So I've been focusing a lot on healthy meals and just making things that I just wouldn't really have the time to like kind of think about and do. So definitely cooking as well. I really like cooking right now. That's definitely
awesome. That's good. If you like to eat, you can cook. That's a good combination. So that's awesome. And I know you're all eating healthy because you're all staying in shape by running and swimming and biking. So that's good. Awesome. Well, thank you, all three of you, for spending time with me today. This is so much fun. I don't get a chance, even in the bricks and mortar school, to spend a lot of time with the students, but this has been great for me, to really therapeutic to spend some time with you this evening on the Lanai. So thank you for taking the time to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So absolutely. So to wrap things up here, next Sunday, I hope that you tune in, where I will have 3 of our teachers, a lower school, middle school, and upper school teacher, where we'll have the same kind of roundtable conversation. So Mrs. Rinaldi, Ms. Grau, and Mrs. Redondo will be joining me on the Lanai, and you're not going to want to miss it. But until then, I'm your head of school, Dennis Chapman. I'm asking you to wash your hands, practice social distancing, but more importantly, show compassion and grace to those around you. Thank you. Nice for life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.